time of day that you take an ice bath make a difference in your results. I have quite literally trained over 3,000 individuals in ice bathing, and I've done major groups, worked with all these different legends in the world, come up with my own theories. I've interviewed people who've broken records and all this stuff, and just made it a part of my life. And so when I get this question, it's a good question. It's a quality question. Does it make a difference? If I do it in the morning, am I going to get more of a benefit? Because we generally are looking at this as I want the minimum sufficient dose, and I want to get the most out of my practice. So if I'm going to do it, give me the most. And the reality is that, of course, like so many questions, the answer is it depends. And stay with me. I know. No one wants to hear it depends, but it really does depend on what you're looking for. There are some people who will do an ice bath right before bed and it helps them get a better night's sleep. Other people, it will just completely wreck their night's sleep. And you can understand why. I think the natural inclination is to say, well, it's going to wreck your night's sleep because it's going to wake you up, right? Because literally when you get into an ice bath, you are going to get a huge dose of norepinephrine. That norepinephrine is a neurochemical that's responsible for attentiveness. When we're wanting to go to sleep, being attentive may be the wrong thing. And that might be the wrong signal to send to your nervous system. On the other hand, there's a lot of people who swear by this. There's a lot of people I know, actually, the people that are in the ice bath group on Facebook, John Richter's group, just look for John Richter's book. He got into it specifically because he had terrible insomnia, and he found that it helped him so much, and he started a whole group on Facebook. He wrote a book. I think it's on my website. If it's not, John, I will put that on my website soon, on how to convert a chest deep freeze into a regular cold plunge. There's a whole group on that. And so that's why he got into it. Other people, it won't work that way. And this is really going to come down to, you've got to experiment, and you can see where this is going. But hang out with me for another minute. When you start your day with an ice bath, this can be one of the best ways to improve your overall attention span and improve your ability to recall things later on because of that same norepinephrine boost. It also has a lot to do with, okay, if you are working out, so when are you doing the main brunt of your workouts, and what are you wanting out of your workouts? So if you're working out and you're trying to get muscle gain, many people have already talked about how this is believed to blunt muscle gains. So I always recommend, if you're going to do muscle gain workouts, if you're going to do any kind of major workout, to do ice bathing 4 hours or later after the workout, because you want to give you want to give your nervous system, you want to give your entire system enough time for that inflammation to be there, to signal the regrowth and all these. You want to get them gains, right? I want to get them gains. Some people ask, can I do an ice bath before a workout? And there's some research that shows that it can increase testosterone. I personally I don't buy it. And maybe it does boost your testosterone a little bit, I don't know. But it's not going to be such a boost that it's going to make huge difference. Like I've tried every which way. I've never noticed an ice bath before working out helping me in any way. And actually it was always a case where I had to warm up more because I was a little stiff. And so, there's some people who would do like a really brief ice bath, maybe a real short ice bath, then go work out, just enough to kind of get their nervous system up and going. That's fine. But in my opinion, the ice bath before weight training or ice bath before major exercise, I think you're taking too great of a risk for a small potential for gain. Unless we get some kind of a study with lots and lots of dudes and they've got a protocol, this works 80% of the time or more, I don't think it's worth the risk for injury. Because you're going to have to, especially if you're in the ages where where you're probably thinking about testosterone more, like your 30s, your 40s, your 50s and beyond, you're going to have to warm up more, right? If you're not in your 20s anymore, if you're not in your teens anymore, where you just go into the gym and you don't warm up and you just kind of lift, and like if you tear something, like the next day it's healed, you're going to have to do a lot of warm up. So you're going to be spending a lot of time undoing the cold exposure so that you can work out without having as much risk for injury. So for me and for my clients, I always recommend do your cold training as something separate from your workout. Do it later on in the evening, or just make sure there's a good gap of time after you work out. Don't do it right before. Or maybe there's a big gap before. Maybe you take an ice bath in the morning, you work out in the afternoon. That's fantastic too. I'm just saying, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, or when it comes to doing an ice bath right before you work out. So timing does matter, but sometimes there's sometimes just internet wisdom that goes around is not really wisdom. It's just people repeating things they hear, and it has nothing to do with experience. I'm giving you my personal experience after years of training people. This is what I have found, and this is what I think would work for you. So guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you next week. Please like, subscribe, share, give me more questions, and I'll see you next time.